My name is Brian Scott, and I'm a practicing local dentist in Thunder Bay. I went to school at the University of Western Ontario taking a science degree, and then I went to the University of Toronto for my dentistry degree. And there I met my wife, Gail, and she was from Thunder Bay. So I thought, well, I might as well give that a try, and so we moved up here, and I've been here ever since. The charity wasn't initially my idea. It was suggested to me by Marie Sorensen. I met her one day at the food bank, and she was volunteering there. And she told me about the great need for clothing for the disadvantaged people. Started community clothing assistance about 7 years ago. It started off very small, and then it gradually grew and grew, and after a while it was just too much for the two of us. She was running it, I just dropped in once in a while, and so I thought we'd try and form a board, and the next fellow I approached was Dave Andrews, and he's been with us ever since. And then he knew some other people that would be helpful to the board, and so he approached Norm Slongo, who's an accountant, and eventually we had a full-fledged board, and we decided that we needed an executive director to help to run this growing organization, and we've managed to do that, and it's just kept growing and growing. My main intention with clothing assistance was to provide inexpensive and at times free clothing to people that were disadvantaged or for reasons beyond their control just needed help. I would have eventually done something like this, not this specifically, but I always thought it was important to give back to the community. And Marie triggered me to do the clothing assistance mission. So I thought this was a good outlet for giving back to the community. Yes, I do. Mainly because a lot of people don't understand how they got in this situation in the first place. Sometimes they think they're just lazy or something like that, but there's often a much longer story behind why they're in the position they're in now. And with a little bit of help, they can move forward, and sometimes they become gainfully employed and get back on their feet and become happy individuals again, and that's what we're trying to help out with. It's changed a little bit, particularly with the Undercover project. It's been widely promoted by the radio stations, and people become a little bit aware that some children go to school without underwear and socks because the parents couldn't afford to buy that and buy food and pay the rent, so they have to cut corners. So the Undercover project gives them free underwear and socks, which helps support them when they can't afford to buy it themselves. It's helpful to supply these things for the children so they have more self-confidence when they go to school and they don't feel any different than the rest of the children. Realistically, I think our organization will continue to grow. There'll be more volunteers, there'll be more donors. Idealistically, I think we're getting pretty close to it already. The main challenge is funding and having enough volunteers and building out the infrastructure of individuals to run the organization. Interestingly enough, people in Thunder Bay have been very generous to us, and they've been willing to drive from all over Thunder Bay to bring the clothes to us because we don't have depots around the city. And they're really happy to bring clothes to us because they know that we give some of them away, and the rest we sell for very low prices, which makes it affordable for anybody in Thunder Bay. Any money that we do take in stays in Thunder Bay. Everyone can help. Either they give us some of their time or some money or very presentable clothing for our patrons. But there's room for everyone to give a little bit to the clothing assistance.